Hello.
that we do. Unfortunately, we do not have any intro music tonight, but that's okay. It's just like it's just like the olden days. Evans, Friday. This Friday is gonna be our 2-year anniversary of the first show.
Yes.
I'm gonna put up some like little snippets of that first show that we did.
2 good years, of open
2 years from Friday. So that's crazy. Thanks everyone for
Awesome
jumping
stuff.
another Wednesday episode of Open Shutter. We have the pleasure of welcoming Jujhar Singh. Hope I'm saying your name okay. Jujhar Singh?
Jujhar. Yeah.
Big thank you to Jujhar for coming on, taking the time to chat with us, and it's going to be a fun show. Thanks to everyone who comes back every week to watch us. Much appreciated you guys taking the time. If you guys don't know who we are, or you're coming from Jujhar's side, we run this photography show podcast every Wednesday, 7:30, and we try to get as many guests as possible because you just get different voices. And Evans and I here have YouTube channels, and you're on my channels. So if you're into storytelling, vlogs, documentaries, small business interviews, whole bunch of stuff going on my channel, check out the channel after the show, and it's a lot of fun. So that's the pitch. Also, we're on podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcasts after starting tomorrow. So if you just like the podcast style, we got you covered. So that's the pitch. I'll give it to Evans for a little. Who are you? What do you do?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Evans. I'm based in Brampton, Ontario. I'm a weddings and events photographer and videographer. On YouTube, I have a channel that's just on tips and trips of improving your video skills, learning how to use your video gear properly, especially when it comes to gimbals and rigging up your cameras to get the most out of them. You can go check out my channel for that. It's always fun to have you guys here. We're heading on to our second anniversary for Open
Friday,
Shadow,
man.
and
Can't believe it.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
We're still waiting for a paycheck.
Yep. Thank you guys. There's some of you in here, Kim, and a whole bunch of people who have been here from day one.
Crazy.
And we appreciate you all for your time and dedication towards this show. It's been a great couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
And more to come.
And
So I'll give it over to Jujhar again. Thanks again, man, for your time. Why don't you give the viewers a little quick intro about yourself?
Yeah. I'm actually also from Brampton. So
there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm a hobbyist, amateur photographer. Did a little bit in my mid-20s. Grade 10 art class. Loved using the camera there a little bit here and there. And then my wife got me the Fuji X-T3 for our engagement as a gift. So been hooked on that since, and really got into it sometime around the middle of that pandemic. A little bit before that, got a little bit more confident in what I was creating. So decided I'd share it with everybody. One of my best friends, he got me hooked onto the cameras and the creative side. My 9-to-5 doesn't allow me to be very creative, so this is where I get my creative runs in, and some good exercise walking around trying to shoot all the time. So that's me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great. So great little intro. So you got really started during COVID, eh? So like, what kind of attracted you to shoot, I guess, during that period?
I think it was seeing things on TV through the photojournalist's lens, seeing things on the internet through the photojournalist's lens. I was shooting before, but it was more so directionless. I was kind of just shooting to get more reps in, to learn my composition rules and all that stuff. But then in COVID, start working from home. I don't waste my day on the road back and forth from work. Now I got that extra 2 hours back. I can get out and I can focus on something I want to do. I can start working towards what I'm inspired by or what I want to work towards, and that's what I've been putting my time towards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think obviously the whole COVID thing gave people a lot more time to explore like what they're really curious about or what they're passionate about. And I always say, like, and it's most basic form, like it's almost like therapy, like going out with your camera, right? It's like, especially when things are so crazy, like if you just take an hour and go outside with your camera, like it's just free therapy. So that's what I find, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So and it just forces you to just like be in the moment and like just be present, because you're always like looking for the shot, right? Because we were talking offline about, you can have the greatest gear in the world, but if you're not paying attention to what's around you, you're missing shots, right? If you're not paying attention to like, either like people walking around or like certain like cool spots to shoot, either like doorways or windows or where the light's catching,
you're
missing it, right? So it's really just about being like focused, which I like about photography, because it makes you focused.
Go.
I think I have Jujhar's Instagram there, so we can show his Instagram later on the show, but go check him out. And I always like seeing, because like, in Toronto, like there's so many photographers, right? So you always see like, it's good to see like how someone else approaches the shot, right? Either the CN Tower, or like the Gooderham building, or all these like famous landmarks. It's hard to get different shots. Like, how do you take different shots, right? So sometimes you look at other people and you get different ideas. So like where do you get ideas in terms of like your shots?
So one is to look at other people. I think I've got a few things in mind. So when I first started reading a lot about how to approach photography, it was just look at the masters, look at what they do, the people that are at the top of the world, and not just photography, but in art in general, like your Van Goghs, your Monets. How did they? Because the principles still remain the same, right?
Absolutely.
Like learning compositions and the math behind rule of thirds and stuff. That stuff's not hard, but then placing it and turning a mundane moment into something brilliant, that's what becomes difficult. And then I got books, like I got one like this, The Americans. You can see it. The Americans. Something that my brother-in-law actually had, so I bought it myself just to look at it, and it's just suburban photos in the United States, and it gives you ideas of what can look really good. And then I was
like that.
Gifted with the contact sheets. So this one's my favorite.
You got Magnum, yeah.
So this is where I actually draw a lot of my inspiration from. I've been working through it. Obviously, I don't have time to go to war zones and
go
to journalism, but you see like how they approach their pictures. It gives you that motivation and that inspiration to try and recreate or try and understand how they approach that picture, how they took that picture, so you can try to take that to the field and do it yourself.
It's really all about like just telling the story, right? Like you can be a photojournalist right in your neighborhood, right? So you take the example of just like talking to like local business owners, and maybe you want to get a few shots of them like during the course of the day, right? It doesn't, like, you don't need to go to crazy places in the world to do photojournalism. It's right in your neighborhood. You just gotta like pay attention and ask people questions, because you need to tell a story somehow, right? So and that kind of pushes you to, like, it's good to get out of your comfort zone, right? If you're shy, or if you're not comfortable approaching people, it's a good way to practice. Just like, start asking people questions. Oh, what do you do? How's your day? How long have you been in business? What do you like about your business? Like stuff like that. And then you got people to open up, because usually people want to tell people about like their life, usually. And from there, who knows what can happen, right? Maybe they're going to hire you for a project. Maybe they have an event coming up. Maybe they have something happening where they need photos, and right. So, just don't use the excuse of like to the face event. Don't use the excuse of, oh, well, my neighborhood's not interesting, or I don't know anyone that's cool. Just start with your family, right? Like even Evans has kids. Like, take pictures of your kids, and you don't have to post them on the internet, just for practice for you, right? Just try to get moments, like try to pay attention, like moments, like candid moments, like not like pose moments, but like something happens.
Every time I get a new lens, I go out and I shoot my dog.
Or use your dog. Exactly.
Like when I first started, my family was my practice target, right? Especially when I started learning how to use off-camera flash and stuff. my family was my target. So I
Exactly.
come back from work in the evening, set up lights in my basement, and call them down one by one. If whoever gets tired goes, and the next person comes and sub until I'm tired. Right?
Exactly.
Most of those pictures never really went anywhere, but it was just the process of
Process.
learning, right?
Yeah.
Learning how to position your lights, learning the direction and the other properties of light, to get to where you are. It's just the process. You get to learn. One thing I did as well when I had no one to shoot, especially because I was doing a lot more portraits, was to get myself a mannequin, right? So I got a couple of them. I got a mannequin head and I got a full body mannequin as well. Because sometimes I at some point I wanted to practice my composition, especially when I'm doing a full length shot of a human being. I gotta play around with my angles, composition, see which angles look better, and stuff like that. And so, because I don't have a subject all the time, my mannequin became my subject to help me practice my angles, practice my composition. So there's a lot you can do even if you don't have a subject to shoot.
Yeah, I like using family because it's family. What are they gonna do,
Yeah.
right? And mannequin heads, it's free, and they're not gonna say anything. So, well, not free. Maybe it's like $5-10, right? But
Yep.
That's a good tip, though. Yeah, no, excellent. Yeah, I don't know if you want to show a couple of photos, Jujhar. Maybe I know that you were saying you want to show a couple, maybe from Vegas or something. Maybe something not Toronto for once.
Sure. Let me just pull up my stuff here. Let's see.
Hey, Roy, thanks for joining us.
Okay. Just bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm just gonna find a couple
No
of
rush, no rush.
stuff I really like.
Yeah, no rush. Momentum. Yeah, exactly, Roy. I was really.
I think he's referring to your video you posted today.
Yeah. I can't believe anybody watched that.
I know. I watch it. All you need is momentum.
That's all you need, man. Well, I'm just saying, like, speaking about momentum, like, to me, like, I don't know. That's why I make so much silly stuff, because it makes me do like the bigger stuff, because it just keeps you going. Because it's so easy not to do it. So, yep. Go ahead.
If you wanna share my Instagram, one of my favorite pictures I posted on there. I can show that one first.
Okay, we'll do that. So everyone, go follow the Bearded Fuji, please. Also, it's a great time for a sponsored Fuji phone.
So if you keep scrolling,
yeah,
that middle one there, with the old man in front of the statue.
This is the one that you sent here for promo.
Yeah, so this one was one of my favorites, actually. Yeah, so actually, this was essentially one of those aha moments where I didn't actually compose or frame this shot. I sat down because I was tired of walking with a mask on the entire time in the ROM, so I had to sit. Yeah. And this old man walks in, and the light just shines straight on him, and he's looking at like the reflection of himself as a statue almost. It was just perfect. So I just quickly had my camera on, luckily, and just picked it up and shot a couple of shots. And this one came out really nice. This is one of my favorites. It looks really stoic.
And I like how like the statue is like looking back at the dude.
Yeah, and that's what I really liked about this picture.
Yeah, it always goes to show you, always be ready. It just shows you, always be ready. Always have the camera on and ready to go, because you just never know.
Yeah, and then I got one from, I was telling you before when we were offline, I sometimes spot as a still shooter for my friend when he shoots music videos. So if you scroll down a little bit, keep going. It's that first one on the left with over the mic.
This one?
So this one is one of my favorite pictures I've actually shot. It's
Nice.
just so like, it's just the vibe, the look of how he's got his emotions when he's singing his song into the mic. It's just everything is caught there. All your leading lines, your patterns, your perspective is really good. Rule of thirds, everything is just fit. And like, I was composing this while he was singing and while they were shooting. I was able to get this shot. I really, really liked how it turned out. I had to blast the ISO a little bit, so it's a little grainy, but that's okay.
No one cares about ISO except for photographers. That's what Bryan says. I'm just speaking for Bryan. So
I mean, it adds to the air of the picture, right?
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of noise, man. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it's almost like
that
8 Mile kind of look, and I really like that in this picture. And it's honestly it's in a Go parking lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this a Go Train parking garage? Because it looks
in Brampton.
Go Train parking garage. Yeah. shout out Metrolinx for the free studio space.
Yeah, and then I can share some pictures I took in Vegas if you want to see those.
Yeah, great.
I'm just gonna figure out how to do this share screen, right?
Correct.
All right. System preferences. I'm just figuring out how to allow it to share my screen.
Yeah, no worries, bud.
Let's see. Share. All right, let me know if my screen pops up.
Not yet.
Go to system preferences. Open system preferences.
Oh, I can see you on a Mac.
Yeah, I'm struggling because
these same issues I had when I first switched. So I think you need to go to system preferences, and then under accessibility, security and privacy. Under accessibility, you would see if you're using Chrome, you got to give Chrome permission to use the camera, and then there's camera also there.
Oh, it's telling me I gotta quit, so that's not.
You may have to do it when.
Do you want to email it to me?
Yeah, let me shoot you these in an email.
Email it to me, and then I'll do it that way. A little workaround. Shout out Bryan for
off my phone.
being very whatever.
It's actually not Chrome. It's just Apple's way of doing things.
Is it Apple stuff?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about IT, so I don't know. I just turn stuff on and hope it works. You know me, Evan. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I just turn it on, see what happens. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna send them to you on Instagram in the DMs.
Okay, yeah, send to me on Instagram.
There you go.
Okay.
There's 5 of them that I really like.
All right, cool. Okay. Yeah, got them. Oh, nice ones. Okay, that should be good. All right, we're back in action. You got the screen?
Yep.
Cool. Numero uno.
Yeah, so this one's actually not on the Strip. This is in downtown Vegas on Fremont Street.
Okay.
It wasn't for me, that area. It was kind of crazy. Too early in the morning for that, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
Vegas a couple times.
The pictures turned out really good.
Yeah, man.
This one is just, there's a lot of buskers there, so it's easy to kind of create a narrative, and the narrative in Vegas was pretty easy to create. Like
lots of characters, right?
Well, yeah, the extremes of America, right? It's the state of the United States where you got Louis Vuitton coming out of the casinos, and then you got the buskers trying to make it. So it was really good. Like, it was really fun. This one, I had time to sit down and compose and change my angles, get the lighting just right. So I felt like this one came out really nice. I really like. This is my first time actually shooting another artist.
Okay.
So I like this one. It came out really well.
Yeah, I liked how you shot behind the dude and kind of got more of like the scene instead of shooting towards him, because then you kind of miss out on the background.
Yeah.
You know, so I like how you showed more of the scene, which is cool. And who is he drawing there?
Oh, he had a picture on his phone that he was looking at. It's right there.
Yes,
You
that's
see him
cool,
holding the
eh?
phone up.
That's cool that he can do that.
Yeah, it's talent.
Jeez, man. I can't even walk and talk at the same time. But anyway, that's a different story. Okay, we'll go to the next one. What's this one? Oh, why is it liking and not?
I'm getting a lot of like notifications.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I'm just trying to boost the algo for you. Hang on. Here, 2 seconds. Oh my god. Okay, got it. Back in action. I don't know why it forced me out and then back in. That's weird. It's okay. We deal with it. Numero dos.
So this one kind of, once again, going for that same story of all the hustle and bustle going on, and then an individual that's just trying to make it.
Yeah.
Not exactly following any of the rules of photography here. Perspective isn't that great. I just really like the story that it told. So
yeah,
I had to show it.
Yeah. But were you also kind of in a rush though? Like you didn't have time to really like set up?
Yeah, I mean,
and
you've been to that area. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on. You can't really
yeah,
down and take these pictures all day. And I took a few shots quickly, but this one was the one that I really liked out of that batch. I was trying to create the juxtaposition between the man on the ground making beads to sell versus arts and crafts on the sign up there trying to sell arts and crafts out of a storefront.
Well, what I like is like the guy in the foreground is not in the light; is beside the light. It's almost like he's kind of in a dark place. Like he's not. That's what I kind of find really interesting. Is that he's just beside the light. So he's like, yeah, it's kind of like that story, right? He's just trying to get towards the light.
Yep.
To me, that's what it kind of like looks like. But
yeah, there's a lot going on in the pictures. So that's one of the things, like your eyes bounce around a little bit too much in that shot. So that's where I was a little iffy, but the story itself is there. Right? I really liked
100%. Let's see if it's going to make me. Okay.
Yeah, this one was just a fun shot. These guys were playing great music.
Nice.
Tipped them for some photography. Was able to compose them.
Played.
Yeah,
always tip if buskers, whatever.
Yep, and just dropped down my shutter speed here. Got their movement in their hands and the feet, and it just the lighting was really good for a little dark alley.
Is this outside or inside?
This is outside, and like they were in a little corner.
Okay.
And it was really dark, so the photo itself turned out really, really good. It's one of my favorite shots I've ever taken.
Yeah, that's good. I like how you have the tip jar at just the edge of the frame. That is a tip jar, right?
Yeah, that's their tip jar.
I like how it's placed at the edge there. It's interesting. Well, it looks like a good time. Was it just you, or was it a whole crowd? Like you kind of had like.
I was able to find them before there was a crowd, so that made the picture that much more fun to take.
Yeah,
I had to compete with a dancing drunk individual, not getting my shot.
In Vegas, that's no way, man. In Vegas, how is that possible? Great shot. Oh, nice.
Well, this is one of those ones like we discussed offline. Find your frame. And wait for your subjects. I found my frame, waited for two people to get over the balcony, and just took the picture. This is at the Venetian.
Yeah.
Just all around great shot. People looking out into the other side of the picture, and it leads your eyes that way. And then just the pattern.
I like the mystery of this whole photo because you don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Which is cool. They're just kind of observing humanity.
Yep.
Man, that's cool.
That's one of my
Ooh.
favorite books in the far right there.
Okay,
And
yeah.
like an antique bookstore. That's actually like a $6,000 book. I think
Yeah.
it's the original first edition copy.
Wow.
Um, the Malcolm X. So you can see all the reflection and the patterns
Yeah.
and leading lines going into the book.
Excellent.
This is one of my like for my person like for myself. It's a personal shot. I wouldn't post this anywhere or anything, but
Yeah. Good for
I
you.
love how it turned out. I love the reflection and I love the focus
Yeah.
on Malcolm X.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Great eye on that, man. Really good eye. And what store was this? Do you remember?
It was an antique bookstore in the Venetian.
Oh,
They
cool.
had their shop in Grand Canal Shops or whatever, and
Yeah.
they had like some crazy stuff. They had a copy of the rendering of the U.S. Constitution for like $25,000 or some crazy stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You didn't buy it?
no, absolutely not.
Gotta, I guess, declare that at customs or something. But
Definitely.
what's in your knapsack, sir? What? Um, cool, man. What was your favorite part of Vegas?
Um,
Oh, usually,
the warmth.
yeah. When did you go?
A couple weekends ago, actually, it was chilly here. I know that it was like -1 degrees here, and it was like 33 degrees every day I was there.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Where'd you stay, on the strip or outside the strip?
I stayed on the strip,
Yeah. Which place?
the Venetian.
Nice. Yeah. I've stayed at the Venetian, and I've stayed at this Stratosphere, like the one at the very edge of the town, like
Yeah,
the tower.
yeah.
I wouldn't stay there again, but that was before I knew anything. So yeah, Vegas is a different place, man. It's a
Oh
different
yeah.
it's a different place.
It was a challenge from a photography perspective because so much is happening. Your senses are just on heightened alert, and you
Yeah.
got to compete with all the lights, right? So you have to understand how to get your lighting right. So hard to shoot there during nighttime.
Yeah.
Um, and during the day, even if you like, I had some shots where I thought I got these perfect, and my stuff wasn't in focus, or I got people walking in that I thought I missed, or stuff like that, and I
Right.
was kind of disappointed. But came out with some pretty nice shots. So
Yeah, good stuff, man. I was saying offline, I'm dying to go. Dying to get on an airplane.
yeah,
Hopefully it'll happen sooner rather than later, but we'll see what happens. Do you have your next trip planned out this year? Do you have any, or what's maybe like your
the
your
next
dream
one,
destination for photography?
my dream destination for
Yeah,
photography. That's a tough one. I got a lot.
yeah. If you could
Maybe
go like tomorrow, where would you go, kind of thing?
tomorrow, probably Peru.
Nice.
You
Yeah,
got a good
me
mix
too.
of street photography, landscapes, wildlife, everything. Just try
Yeah,
your hand
we
at it.
gotta go together, man. Because I was gonna go to Peru in like February 2020, so need to
And
get back
before
on that
everything,
wagon.
yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you never know, man. I got a friend in Lima. He might be coming up to Toronto, so we'll see what happens with that. But
Okay,
if he's there in Lima, he can take us around a little bit.
okay.
Yeah, excellent. Cam, do you want me to show this photo that you sent on Instagram or no? Because I saw you sent me something, but it's a promo for the show. Let me know, because I just saw it. Anyways, huh? San Rafael, California. Yeah, okay, I can deal with that. Honestly, like anywhere there's a beach, like you give me a beach, I'm happy. Like a real beach, not like Lake Ontario, like sand. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that's the next on live location. Um. So like, what do you like? What like where like staying local? Like where are your favorite spots here in the city to shoot?
Locally,
Yeah.
um, I wouldn't say I have a lot of favorite spots. I've wanted to get out to Chinatown. I
Yeah.
haven't had a chance yet.
Gotta come to meet up, man.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance. I want to get one of those looking into a live noodle house shots. Those look really cool. And
Right.
then
Right.
I had a really good time shooting in the ROM. Learned a
Yes.
lot about lighting in there. And I think just like areas like that have that kind of nostalgic suburb feel. You
Right.
could say like Streetsville and Mississauga.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to go down to downtown Brampton with my camera yet, but I've been thinking about that.
Well, Evans and Bryan will take it because of Evans.
How do you live in Brampton and you haven't been to downtown Brampton?
I've been to downtown Brampton. I haven't taken my camera.
Man, you've got to. We do that regularly. We walk downtown.
You gotta go out with these guys.
Myself, Bryan, and sometimes Andre. We
Andre,
take a walk. We go around the city. You know.
Okay.
You have no excuse, then, man. You got friends there, man. You got no excuse.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, like I said, with the meetup group, like not just our group, but like any meetup group, is that it takes you to different spots. You know, it gives you more exposure to neighborhoods that you typically wouldn't visit. So, and plus, and that's the way you learn, right? Like just by meeting people and chatting. Like the meetup that we did this past weekend, we had a pretty good turnout, and you know, people just chatted for 2 hours. So you pick up a couple of things, right? So
yeah.
And that's how I learned, right? Because, you know, for me, it's like for anyone, you know, whatever. Photography is like there's so much to know, right? So like, where do you start? Like, you can watch YouTube and do all that stuff, but until you actually like start doing it, you don't really know, you know. So
yeah, agreed.
But yeah, come out with us one time. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Did you want to show any other stuff on your IG, or was those couple photos your highlights kind of thing?
I think those are my highlights.
Okay,
cool. I think you saw those like ducks and geese and stuff. So that's some stuff I'm experimenting with. I actually had to shoot those fully manual focus because I used the Pentax on that. It's that vintage lens, right? It does. I had to use an adapter onto my camera and turn off with a lens, and that was really fun. I was by myself. It was a long day of work, and it was that first warm Thursday of March. I don't know if you remember. It was like 20 degrees out.
It was beautiful. I was wearing shorts.
I just went to a pond near my house, and I know that there's always geese and ducks there, and I just had an hour just moving around, trying to get them in focus, shooting them, taking pictures of people's dogs and stuff like that, just to learn how to use this super Akumar 200 millimeter on a crop sensor. So it was like a 300 millimeter. It was huge. So it was so far away. And I was right next to them. And that was my first go at actually using a very, very deep focal length like that. I stick to a 23 mm prime on my Fuji, so it's equivalent to 35, right? Everything I shoot is at around 35. Earlier on, I was shooting at 18 to 55 kit lens before I bought the prime lens. Actually, on the advice of one of my closest friends, told me to get a prime and just have a blast with it, and I have. It gets me moving, gets me thinking about how to compose my pictures and everything, rather than cheating and zooming in.
Forces you to move.
Forces
you to move. Forces you to think outside the box. Like how am I gonna get this shot right? It's a great way to learn, just using primes too. Excellent. And you're a Fuji guy, eh?
Obviously. I love I love the look of the camera. That silver and black body is just so classic. Olympus did it, Pentax did it. It just has that feel.
Evans is smiling. I'm a Fuji guy, not really.
Yeah, I know. That's that's one of the selling points of Fuji, right? The look of it looks retro, classic looking.
I got
not
it
as
right
much
here.
as Pentax, but still there.
Oh, he's gonna break up. There you go.
That silver and
looks
black
nice, man.
Yeah, this is. It looks really good.
Yeah, dig it, man. Cool.
So the mirrorless is
body
fun.
that you want. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the mirrorless is a little bit easier to use than the DSLR. The DSLR is so big. All of them are so big. They're the full frame DSLRs. So the crop censored mirrorless has been so quick. It's easy to use. It's inconspicuous. I can be out on the street and shoot those shots without overly alerting people or what have you.
Exactly. Roy's asking XT2, XT3, right?
XT3.
XT3. Yeah. Roy is a film shooter.
Oh, okay.
Strictly film. Well, not strictly, but he likes his film stuff. Have you done film?
No, I've been on set with my best friend and his team shooting film for music videos and stuff. So I've seen the
Wow.
hard work that goes into it. It looks real fun. I'd love to try it, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it's like you got to know your stuff, eh? Because you only got like so many shots at the can.
Yeah.
You know.
I couldn't imagine doing it over and over again and not
Well,
getting into
that's the
the
thing.
subject's
And then you
nerves.
wait, and then you have to wait, or you
Yeah.
develop yourself, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I hope I got the shot.
Yep.
Oops, sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, you got to have fun, or else like, what's the point, right? So,
Yeah.
it's so are there people in this city that you kind of like look up to in terms of like photography, like people that you follow on Instagram that you get ideas or
I got a ton of people on
yeah,
Instagram from the city. Brock Wonder
yeah,
does a good job. I
yeah,
watch his reels.
yeah.
Um, I think everybody knows what's that guy's name? I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I have a whole list of people I follow on
Yeah,
Instagram
it's
that
just so much, right? Like
yeah,
it's
I
and that's a
mean,
great thing with like social media is that like all the knowledge can be right there. You just gotta like look for it and kind of like know where to go, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But like I said, you don't really know until you start like actually doing it. So
yeah,
yeah,
and
that's
that
just
goes into, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out, is it street that I want to do? Is it shooting streetscapes and
yeah.
landscapes or whatever? I'm open, right? It was open canvas, trying
There's
to
nothing wrong with
figure
that.
out what I like.
I shoot all kinds of stuff. My grid's all over the place, but
Yeah,
I just like shooting. Like I said, like when Roy mentioned, like the last vlog I did, like I just keep doing stuff because it makes me want to keep doing it, right? So
yeah,
I do a lot of silly stuff, but it gets me to make like the important stuff because you're disciplined about doing it, you know. Like Evan said, it's about the process. Like it's not really about the result. So
yeah,
that's just the way that Evans and I kind of operate. Is that it's not always going to be bangers, you know. You just need to like
yeah.
just keep doing it. Like it's really that simple, like but
No, I agree. I
it's a
agree.
time thing too, right? Like where do
Yeah,
you find the time? How you gonna do it? Oh, it's raining today, or oh, the battery's dead. Like all these like excuses that we put into our head. It's like, well, just have a plan. Stick to a
yeah,
plan, and just execute it.
yeah. Agreed.
Because it's just like I said earlier, like it's so easy not to pick up the camera.
Yeah.
You
I,
know,
I
so
mean,
easy.
I got an overall plan in mind with those Vegas shots. You saw the story I'm trying to tell with those. Like, I have a plan. I want to bring together more of those kind of shots from American cities and suburbs,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah,
maybe put
man.
them in like a guide or a book. And
100%, man. You can make like a little photo book, photo essay. Maybe have
yeah,
like a theme
yeah,
of
yeah,
like the photo essay, and maybe it's people, maybe it's places, maybe it's like historical things, like the book that you showed.
yeah,
All kinds of ideas on how to do that. But yeah, that's super fun, man, because then you have a real project.
yeah. And I
Then it's a
think
real project.
that's the start of my first photography project. Could take a little while, but I mean,
Good things usually do.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just gotta keep shooting and keep finding
Oh, it's exciting, man.
those frames and those stories, right?
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Especially when you have it in hard copy. Like you just showed that book earlier, like to have
Yeah,
the actual book. There's something about it.
yeah, agreed.
Better than a PDF, right? You have PDF, sure, but to have the actual book,
Yep.
there's something like tangible, like literally like tangible about it. Like it makes you want to sit down, get a coffee, and just like start looking through it.
Yeah, agreed.
So, so if you print your own stuff, it makes it kind of like more your own too. Like it's more personal when you can actually hold your stuff in your hand instead of like
Yeah,
raws and JPEGs and all that. But
yep.
that's what makes it fun, right? So like make it your own,
Yeah, agreed.
you know. So yeah, hopefully you make that happen, man. And it could be just like you can just start local, like even start in Brampton,
Yeah. Yeah,
like we
yeah, of
said,
course.
like off the top, like just you know, small businesses or whatever. People's I don't know, people's. I'm just brainstorming people's dogs or something. Who knows? Who knows what the topic is?
Uh, there's
Abandoned
no
buildings.
there's no
Or,
shortage of dogs in Brampton.
Yeah. 35 millimeter negatives plus prints. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like big projects like that because it makes you really focused. Like it makes you really like think about how you're gonna do stuff.
Yeah,
Because then you really have an idea. It's like, okay, this is gonna be like a 3-month project kind of thing. And now like the weather's getting better. It's easier to get around a little bit.
I've been waiting for the weather to get better.
Yeah, we've all been, man. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I'll see the snow tomorrow. No, I'm just
yeah,
joking.
I shot some of those food truck shots, and it was like minus
That's
19.
another
I
one.
couldn't feel my
Yeah,
fingers, and I thought my camera is just at one point just shut down. It's just like, no, I'm not having it today. It was a
yeah.
really
No,
really
I know,
cold
man.
day.
I know. It's yeah. Sometimes it can be really tough, but like we said, it's just about like the discipline of it.
Yep.
Excellent. So are there places like in Ontario that you want to get to, or Canada that you want to get to?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah,
I haven't been
the
to
entire
Algonquin.
country.
Yeah, I can list off. I could belt off a ton of places. I actually have a couple of shots from Montreal that I really like. I'll post those eventually.
Okay,
I
Montreal's
want to
great.
get I want to get out to the Algonquin Park,
Yeah,
just do some landscape and maybe some nature.
yeah,
And then the West Coast. The West Coast has so much to see.
yeah. You'll never come back, man. You'll just stay there.
Yeah, I mean, I've
People
been
who live
down
there
there a
will
few
never come
times, but never with my camera. So
back.
it's a different kind of trip when you take your camera with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. It's good. Yeah, again, that's a good way to know like what you like to shoot. Just getting to different environments because
Yeah.
we get a little bit complacent because when we're always stuck in the same spot, like you get a little bit complacent. But when you're pushed into like different environments, it makes you hyper aware of like your environment. So I think that gets you aware of what you like to shoot. But also because you have a limited time. Say you
Yeah.
only have like 5 days there, then you really okay. What do I want to shoot? I only got 5 days, so makes you kind of aware of what you want to do, and that kind of might help you or other people that are just starting out. Like, well, what do you like to shoot? Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Agreed with that.
you know,
I mean, it's fine line because I only get so many vacation days from my 9 to 5,
exactly.
right? And
Yeah,
you gotta you
it's like,
gotta
oh man, you only got so many shots at the can, right? So you gotta like pick.
yeah,
Okay, what am I gonna do today?
yeah, and then you gotta walk that line with enjoying your vacation and then getting serious on taking your
Yeah,
shots too. So
yeah, yeah. And also, people in like the chat or like they're listening later on, like don't feel pressured like to have like a niche because
yeah,
there's no like deadline where you have to like submit to like the photography whatever. This is my
yeah,
need. You just gotta take it as it comes and just see what happens. So
yeah, I agree.
that's where like a lot of the pressure comes in because I need a niche because I have to go on Instagram and all this stuff. And if I don't have a niche, then I'm not gonna like get big. It's like, well, first of all, like, have fun. Second of all, do it for yourself. Third of all, just keep, like we said earlier, like just the process is more important than um, your social media followers because what does it really matter? Who knows? So,
Yeah, I actually started this to be inconspicuous. I didn't use my name. Uh,
oh, on
yeah,
Instagram?
yeah, even on Instagram, I
Okay.
only a few of my friends knew it was me, and then and my wife.
Oh, okay.
I just try to go from there. I wanted to be inconspicuous.
How come?
But
Just because you don't want to let people know, like, it's your
no,
photos?
it's just because I just thought it would be more fun that way. But I mean, somewhere along the line, it becomes more kind of out there to show that it's your art, right? I
Yeah,
get proud of my
it's your
work,
vision.
yeah, and
Yeah.
rather than
It's like you gotta claim what you put out, right?
You gotta claim it. It's yours.
yeah,
Exactly.
can't be hidden all this time. It was I kind of think I read back to Robert Capa and
Right.
Henri Cartier-Bresson, how they wanted to. I don't think anybody knew what Bresson looked like,
No.
right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of like you get that mystique in your head, but then after a while it gets tiring, and you're just like, you know what? Let's just let everybody know who it really is.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point of showing the world, like, hey, this is me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Like, it's Yeah, it's a good tip for all the people starting out. Just claim it, like Evan said, claim it. This is how I say. And there's no right or wrong answer, right? In photography, like there are rules and all that stuff, yes, but
I
in
think
the end, it's art, right? Like it's art.
yeah,
Like how you
one of
see it.
the craziest things is that like anytime I read about rules, the last rule was don't be afraid to break the rules, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
even that book I showed, the Magnum contact sheets, you look through them, how many of them actually fit those composition rules of golden ratio and stuff like that? They're just pictures that compel the eye and tell a story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you tell a good story, then that's all. That's all that really matters. And that's what I like about photography is that it's not science, it's not physics. Like there is, it's whatever it is you want it to be. So
Yeah.
that's
I
what I
mean,
like about it.
that can be a little bit troubling to change your mindset too, especially for me. Like I told you off the hour, I'm an accountant
Yeah,
at the time. So to me, rules and stringency is important because all my work runs
of
through rules
course, of
and
course.
stringency.
When you're reporting your finances, of course.
Yeah, and when you have to switch over to something where it's your
Yeah,
creativity that takes over,
yeah,
it's a paradigm shift. It's like a shock to the senses, but it's fun.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
um, it's
yeah.
fun
Like
to
what?
keep that changing.
Yeah. Like what? Like do you have any advice for people that are kind of in your position of like they have sort of like an accounting type of job and they want to move more into like the creative space? Do you have any advice for people to like kind of start pushing towards there in terms of just getting started?
Yeah, I mean, just take
Yeah,
lots of pictures. Just shoot,
just shoot
run out
constantly.
of battery, run out of battery every time you go out. Just thousands
Hmm.
of shots. That's how you get better. I mean, and that's how
Yeah,
you find out if you like it or you don't like it, right? I mean,
yeah, it's a
uh,
great tip.
yeah, and if you don't like it, then that's fine. You can find something else that you might like, right? Something different from creativity perspective.
Yeah,
And don't get rigid in a box, like you said. Don't try to find a niche before you know what you like to do, and
yeah,
don't try to fix yourself to try to perfect your compositions all the time.
hmm,
Sometimes I just shoot from the hip because I think it's going to turn out good, or I really
right,
like what I'm seeing, right?
yeah,
Like I said, my favorite picture, one of my favorite pictures that I showed you, the man in the museum.
yeah.
I didn't compose that. He just happened to walk
This
in, and I was
happens.
like,
That's
"This
the
is
way.
amazing.
Yeah,
Let me just shoot this."
that's how the great photos happen, man. They just appear in front of you. They just appear in front of you, right?
Yeah,
And that's kind of like circling back to like photojournalism, where you always have to be ready, like because it's photojournalism, like nothing is staged, like things are happening. You just gotta like be ready to shoot. So,
yeah. I mean, I learned that the hard way with the ducks and geese. I
mm,
mean, nobody wants people don't wanna sit still for you, let alone animals. That was a hard one, but,
yeah,
yeah, like, just go out and have fun. If you're having
yeah,
fun, that's all that matters. You'll get
yeah,
better as you
100%,
practice. You get better
100.
at anything the more reps you put into it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's so simple, but it's so true. Like that's really just how it happens, right? Like, I mean, are you able to find like any creative space during your work? Like, are you able to go out at lunch hour and something to like shoot around a little bit for 20
Uh
minutes or
Not really. Sometimes I'll shoot in the house here and there.
yeah.
I'll go after work, like at 5 o'clock. Even if I have to
Hmm.
work late that day, I'll step out for maybe like 35 minutes and just say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'll be back,"
Yeah.
and I just get on the trail. I have ravine trails all around me, and just
Perfect.
and shoot,
Perfect.
shoot birds, shoot people walking, shoot leading lines, and all that stuff, just to get
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I always use something called the 30-minute. Like when I was working in an office, I used something called the 30-minute challenge, where I would take my lunch break and I would take my camera to work and just shoot for 30 minutes and see what I can get in 30 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
That's a good tip.
that's when I was in an office. But if people are struggling out there in terms of just getting shots, just put a time limit on yourself. 15 minutes. You'd be surprised of how much you can get in 15 minutes when you actually put a time limit, because then it really pushes you to do something.
Yeah, yeah. Then you gotta
And
get.
you have to. Well, yeah, and it's not a high pressure deadline. It's a deadline for yourself, right? So
Yeah, I agree.
um that's a tip for people who if you're struggling. I do that all the time because A, it's fun, and B, it just gets you to think of something besides work. So
Yeah, and I
like
think
we said, yeah.
I think also if you don't have your camera, would you use your phone? You
Use
all
your
the
phone.
composition stuff
Use your
is the
phone.
same,
Yeah,
right?
doesn't
Use your phone.
just do something, right? So
Yeah,
goes back to like,
it's good to give your mind a break from work too. You come back
yeah,
rejuvenated,
you just
ready
feel
to go.
better, man.
Yeah,
You feel better. It's like you just went to the gym for half an hour almost.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I do tricks like that, and or just take one lens with you, and just like you said, just use one lens. It pushes you to think, like the prime. It pushes you to do something
yeah.
that you're not used to. So it pushes you to think a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I actually got that prime, I almost exclusively only shoot in that. I haven't. The only other
Yeah,
lenses I've hooked onto it are the two vintage lenses that I got,
right.
the Minolta and the
Mm,
Super Takumar. Other than that, those are just to try out because I like those lenses. But everything I shoot in that prime, and that was like uh, one of the greatest tips that anybody ever gave me. Is my best friend told me, get a prime, you're gonna love it, and
yeah,
I love it. It's compact. I do
yeah,
everything with it, and it makes me walk around. It makes me move. I mean, the first time I used it, I worked up a sweat, and I was shocked.
solid. Love it. Shout out to your best friend for suggesting that. It's like it literally changed your life.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like it, man. It could be that simple, right? So don't discount anything. Just try everything and see what sticks, kind of thing,
yeah,
right? Like yeah, it's interesting. I always think like lately it's like, oh man, I wish I got into photography like back in high school, but like those were like different days, right? So it's always easier to like think to yourself, oh, if I started like 15 years ago, I would be this much better. It's like, well, that's just the way it happens, right? Because like technology is different. There was no social media then. Like it's all different now. Like how people share photos, how people
yeah. I
share
mean,
content. Like
if you keep regretting what you did in
it's
the
like,
past,
yeah, like I didn't
you're
even
never gonna pick up your camera and do anything.
camera
And
wasn't even a thing for me like 10 years ago. So
yeah, that's a lesson I
even a
learned
thing.
quite a while ago. Like 7 years ago, I started Muay Thai, and I learned that
Yeah,
lesson quickly. When I was down on myself, why didn't I start this before?
yeah,
Just get over it and just practice. Put in reps. Put
yeah.
in reps.
Things come at their own time, right?
Yeah.
Kim is saying she's hooked on 35 mil.
I mean, yeah, the 23 is the same on the Fuji
Yeah, yeah,
X-T3 because the crop sensor. 35 it's so fun. It's
yeah, man.
all these great shots in the Magnum contact sheets are all shot at 50 or 35, right? So
We gotta get Fuji to sponsor this show, man. Evans, we gotta make that happen, man. Fuji before Canon, before Sony. It'll be the 2-year anniversary special.
yeah, the only problem with Fuji is finding lenses. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. You can't
Yeah,
really find much because of all these chip shortages and
right,
backlog.
right. So where do you go to like look for gear, like in Gigi, or where do you go?
Uh, just walk into a Henry's.
You walk into a Henry's?
Yeah, walk into Henry's, or sometimes I order maybe 1-2 lenses on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
And the Kijiji for the vintage. I actually, funny story, had an order out for the Helios vintage lens, but they only sourced that through Ukraine. And
Oh,
the guy,
okay. Yeah.
I ordered it, and the invasion happened 3 hours later, and he canceled my.
Mhm.
I felt so sad.
Man, try downtown camera on Queen Street in Toronto.
Downtown camera.
Sometimes they got some stuff there for Fuji.
Okay, cool.
Or just call them up.
Did you just say the Helios? You use the Helios?
I wanted to. I never got my hands on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have one. I use it for video mostly.
How is it? How's the
Oh,
lens?
nice. I like adapting the vintage lenses. I don't really use them for photos, but I love them for my video work.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
I
they're
have a
really,
huge
really.
collection of vintage lenses that I just use for that purpose. Adapt them to my Sony for
For
video.
video. Yeah, I heard they're really fun for video. My
Yeah.
friends have talked to me about them. One of my friends asked me to look into vintage lenses, so I bought 2, and I love them. I can show you actually 2 that I've got. So this one is they're also super cheap compared to what you pay for a Fuji lens. I got this one for $23. This is a Minolta.
Minolta, yep.
Yeah, this is 50 millimeters, 1.7.
Yep, I think I have that one too. So what I do is I'm always looking out for Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji. Sometimes people just list them there. They don't even know the value of it. I just buy it for cheap. $10,
I mean, I got
$20, $15.
This one for $35.
Yep.
This is the one I shot those ducks and geese with. It's just a 200 millimeter Asahi Pentax, right? A Super Takumar, and it's in great condition for 40-year-old lens. There's some scratches and stuff, but the lens, the front element, everything is perfect. I just screw it mounted onto the adapter and good to go. It takes such clean tack sharp pictures.
Yeah. Roy St. Thrift Stores, KH Photo. You mean B&H? What about that secondhand store for Best Buy, Evans?
Sorry?
The secondhand store for Best Buy. Best Buy, right?
Oh, yeah. So I use that sometimes. It's called Second Ten.
Second Turn.
It's basically Best Buy's auction site where they get rid of the retains and stuff. Yeah. And some used items they take back and buybacks or something of that sort. And if you're fortunate, you get good deals there. I've bought a couple of camera bodies there. I've bought a couple of lenses from there for really good prices, maybe sometimes even 1/3 of what it cost.
Secondturn.com?
It's called second10.dtdeals.com, something like that. Yeah, it's basically a Best Buy site.
Yeah.
But it's just they auction the stuff. So when you get there, you see everything listed and you auction. So if you win the bid, you got it. Yeah. And they don't just sell older stuff. They sell pretty modern stuff. I've seen A73s on that site. I've seen EOS LPs and hours on that site. So, but it all depends. The popular the item is, the more people are interested. So sometimes they jack up the price, or people bid up the price, and but I bought a couple from there. Yeah, I bought an LP from there that I'm still using. I bought an SL3 from there that I'm still using. So.
Let me ask both of you guys, what's your favorite combination, body and lens? All-time favorite. What do you love to shoot with?
I love shooting my I'm right now my favorite lens for my event work. I still use the Sony A7 IV right now, but the A7 III was what I used for almost 4 years. I just recently switched to A7 IV, which is the upgrade for the A7 III. But for that, my go-to lens, I would say two lenses that I use the most. I use the 85-1.8, and I also love my Tamron. So it's hard to pick one lens, but I use the Tamron Trinity. So there's a Tamron, the Tamron Trinity, I would say, is the 17-28, the 28-75, and then I have the 70-180.
Oh, so full range.
Those four lenses I carry with me everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Evans is the gear guy. If you have any questions about gear, ask Evans.
Yeah. What about yourself? What's your favorite?
I'll do whatever Evans does. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a Lumix G7 on me now with a couple of lenses, and that's it. And I mean, I do vlogs though. Like, it's like run and gun. Like, I'm in the middle of whatever I'm doing. Like, it's not like event stuff. It's like I'm just walking down the street talking to a camera. So it's kind of different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I use a whole bunch of gear, but if I'm talking about photography, that would be my kit that I use for weddings and stuff. I rely on that kit. But outside of that, I use the Blackmagic 6K Pro. I have a couple of Canon bodies, the SL3 and the LP. But yeah, I started off learning on Canon, so I still always have that kind of love and hate relationship with Canons. But I don't use Canon for my professional jobs anymore. I just use the cameras mainly here in my YouTube space for recording my YouTube stuff.
Okay. And okay, so you do wedding work and portraits and stuff. Favorite outdoor portrait spots in Brampton?
In
Brampton.
Brampton, my favorite spot, my go-to spot is right next to my house. It's the what do you call that place? Sandalwood. It's on Sandalwood, the conservation park,
Conservation.
Hard Lake Conservation
Heart
Area,
Lake. Okay.
right? I've done wedding couples there. I've done engagement shoots. I've done birthday shots there. The That place is beautiful. There's a lot of different spots within that park that you can shoot and do different things. So I go there a lot. That used to be, well, and it still is. That's what I call my practice spot, right? One of the things I do regularly is I practice a lot, even if it means just walking up on my own, taking shots of the streets and signs and whatever it is, I will do just for practice, right? And so Hard Lake has become over the years my practice spot. I will set up my gimbal, go to Hard Lake, shoot video scenes and stuff like that. Uh, I may edit some of them just for fun, just to see how it goes, but that's my practice spot, and the place is beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, I've been up there. Ran a cross country race up there once in high school.
Solid.
I think when most people go to Hard Lake, they just know about going through the main entrance
Yeah.
and just going by the riverside and they're done, right? But there's trails all around the park that goes all the way to the back of the lake.
Yeah.
Right? So if you take your time to actually explore the park, because it's only about 5 minutes away from me, so I've spent years exploring that place, so I know almost the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
There's beautiful places there where you can do anything that you want inside that park.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, you got a friend now in Brampton, man. It's gonna take you around.
The other place I used to go was Chinguzi Park, but I hate it now because over the last couple of years, you realize there's always a security guards kicking photographers out for whatever reason it is.
Yeah.
So I don't really go there as much anymore.
Subhan's asking, do you need at Heart Lake? If you softbox?
I have used softbox so many times. Nobody's bothered me. Nobody's asked me for a
the
license.
location. Heart Lake.
Sandalwood and 410.
Sandalwood and what?
Sandalwood and 410. Yeah. Or
Sandalwood
you can
and
say
410.
Hard Lake and Sandalwood.
Yeah.
Sandalwood and 410. There's going to be a lot of shoots there all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's the northwest.
Where do these photographers come from? Are you double checking the location, Evans? You're looking at something. Oh, you're talking to someone else. Never mind. We're up against the hour, so I don't want to give too much else of your time, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you have any final thoughts for people?
Just reiterating what I said. I mean, I do it because I enjoy it. I have fun. Yeah, pick up your camera and just shoot, right? And just don't worry so much about the rules and all that stuff. That comes after you figured out how to use the camera, first of all. So just see if you like it, if you enjoy it. Look at the master's works, the top of the top. Look at art from people like Monet and Van Gogh, and you'll get there eventually, right? Don't get caught up in the rat race, and you'll be happy.
Love it. It's great. It's great advice, man. Totally appreciate it. Evan's final thoughts?
I suggest, like you said, know the rules, right? But then break them. That's what I always say. It's good to learn all the rules, learn all the composition rules and stuff, but don't be afraid to break them, right? Don't be afraid to do your own thing, because yes, we learning from people, we learn from how everything is looking, but yes, the rules are there, but understand the rules, so when you break them, you break them with intent. Right. You break them with intent, with meaning behind it. That's the key thing.
Excellent. Thanks so much for your time. You crushed your first podcast, man. Hopefully we made it easy for you. Hopefully we made it easy for you. Full disclosure for the people in the chat. This is our first time meeting because I just asked Jujhar randomly on Instagram saying, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" He's like, "Sure?" ? So no, just joking. It went well, man. So hopefully we can have you back on later this year. Maybe you can provide an update on your project, what you're working on, and
Yeah, of course.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping I keep moving and keep that momentum going on that. So yeah, for sure.
Just remember this little show when you make it big. Just remember you came on Open Shutter way back when. Say these guys, I tell you, a couple of clowns, but I had some fun. You know what I mean? So. No, it's fine, man. So thanks everyone for watching. So next week, Bryan's on here. Bryan's back next week, and I think next week is the portrait challenge we're doing. So please email your photos before Wednesday at noon because Bryan has to organize stuff. So we're doing that along with another guest that we have on the same day, and that should be a lot of fun. And that's what's on tap. So thanks everyone for watching. This show will be on Spotify, Google Podcast tomorrow. So if you want to share this with your friends, please do so. Like, subscribe, and yeah, that's about it. We don't have any outro music, so we have to go old school and just like start yelling at the screen.
Bye, guys.
All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Have a good time, guys.